Boker Tov. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Eyal. We are in Zaatara, Summit Zaatara, where earlier this week 2 Palestinians were killed, Boker Tov, while they were fixing their tire. They were standing at the side, and a Zionist settler drove into them. He claims it was an accident. Claims he drove into them. 2 brothers. One died on the spot, and the other one died on the way to the hospital. In the neighborhood here of Junction, Zaatara. I will go to the other side. Let's see if we have a Zoom today. I don't know what's wrong with my... Okay, that just means I have to walk around a bit more. So, Zaatara in occupied Palestine, where the last week has been a freaking nightmare for the Palestinians. It's seriously, every week is tough, but they're getting tougher and tougher. They really are getting tougher and tougher. Here, some additional people arrived. God, it's cold. Now, I did my homework last night, and to summarize this week in occupied Palestine, my tiny little, not tiny, my paper wasn't big enough to write it all down. Now my memory sucks, so there's just no way I will ever remember it all. So let's bring some order into this week. If I'm shaking, I'm sorry. I wonder though if I am without my gimbal, if this works. So let's start with, where did I write down? Last week 4 Palestinians were killed, including the 2 brothers that I just mentioned. 2 Palestinians died due to medical neglect by the Israelis. One in Gaza and the other one here in Israel. I do have his name. I will get to him later, because right now the army is also not releasing his body. I will get there soon. 57 Palestinians were seriously wounded in their face, in their chest, their legs, several in their face, including a 17-year-old that he was shot in his face, then he was arrested, and right now he's in the hospital in a serious condition. Yes. Eighty-two Palestinians, 82 were arrested, including minors, including, I saw pictures of young kids, really. I think one was 6 years old, a 6-year-old kid, Palestinian kid that was arrested. No words for it. 49 raids by the Israeli occupation force on Palestinian villages. 49. And 13 attacks by settlers, including the on purpose driving into Palestinians after fixing their tire on the side of the road. Okay, those are, you know, the numbers, which are as usual staggering enough. 4 Palestinians again killed, 2 by the hands of Zionistic settlers, 2 because they were too sick and did not get medical aid. It is indeed a serious and then 2 additional ones. Yeah, these are the signs here. Shnei Yudim, 2 Jews are sitting, are being held under administrative detention without evidence and without a trial. Here they say release them. 2 Palestinians, 2 Zionist settlers right now are in Israeli jail on administrative detention. Let's not talk about the 900 plus Palestinians that are being held under administrative detention right now. Let's not talk about that today, right, Danny?
We have a lot of funny things to talk about.
Oh my God, it was a horrible week.
It is fun. Really. Everything depends on the way you look at things.
You look at it, yes.
So I tend, to try and say, okay, it's very funny. It happens in another country, and it's really a joke. It's not mine.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it is weird, and to disconnect yourself from the event can change your perspective.
I remember, when Trump was elected in the States, that I looked at it and I was like, how can people continue living there, rise up, protest?
But as I wrote in Facebook, now, after, disagreements and Netanyahu's behavior, Trump seemed like, a logical, sane person. Really. I mean, he's so sane. Netanyahu does something wonderful for him. Because he's much more psychopath.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. Let's see if anybody else. I don't even want to talk about politics right here, because it is seriously, unless other people want to talk about it, of course. You want to say something? No, people are not really, they're standing here. Okay. Just that you guys get this. I'm standing here with my winter hat and my winter coat, and I'm shaking. And here we have somebody in his t-shirt, like it's the middle of the summer. I look like this, more or less. And then we have this. Yes, it's all a matter of perspective. And then we have these two. Okay. Now also this week, finally, the 2 bodies of Salama Shcharai, my apologies when I kill these names, and Khaled Inbar, they were killed October the 3rd this year. Now, this was like one of these weird stories that 3 people are sitting in a car. The Israeli occupation force decided that they were dangerous and just shot them. Now, in the beginning, it wasn't clear who died. So they gave the wrong information. One ended up in the hospital. Now, he was released after 3 days. Actually, he was thrown out of the hospital. Stating that he was sitting in the back, so he was not part of the supposed attack, which which is of course absolute bullshit. So he was basically, after 3 days, they decided no, there was actually no planned attack. 2 Palestinians died for no reason. Salama, Sharai, Khaled, Inbar. Oh my, excuse, seriously. I bet I cannot say the names, really. So 2 died, the other one was kicked out, and they told him, you have like this amount of time to get to occupied territories, because you don't have permission to be here, and figure it out. It was like freaking insane. And the mother of one of the 2 that did die, she wasn't even notified. The family wasn't even notified properly. Like a horrifying story. So there was no attack. 2 Palestinians died for no reason. Now today, or this week, we are today like what, 23, 24, I think 23, 24, something like that, probably Christmas soon. Finally, the 2 bodies were released. Now Israel, people are extremely positive, reacting, taking pictures, honking. So the 2 bodies were released this week. So finally their funeral took place. Now Israel is shouting like murder, or the biggest crime ever, if the Palestinians have a body of an Israeli and don't want to release it. In the meantime, I think 88 bodies, but it might be more. I tried to look it up for sure. I have written it down somewhere. I think it's something like 88 Palestinians right now are being held in the fridge. Then of course we have the 256 bodies buried somewhere on a lot with just numbers. Number 1, 2, 3 till 256. That's how they are identified. That's how Israel is identifying the dead Palestinians. It's seriously freaking me out. And 9 Palestinians died this year, just this year, because of delay or denial in requests for medical treatment, medical exits, etc. 9 Palestinians died this year so far, including 1 this week. And of these 9, 3 kids. I remember one of them died, a girl, in August. Now, here it is. Right, over 120 bodies. That's it. Over 120 bodies right now are being held by Israel, including Nasser Abu Hamid, who died this week of cancer. Now, he had lung cancer. They realized that like 2 years ago. It took them a very long time, the Israeli occupation force, to allow any treatment. He died Tuesday or Wednesday morning, I think. His mother was allowed on Tuesday night to visit him. There have been many requests in the last year to get him home, to let him die at least surrounded by his family. No. Which is, of course, as we know, a blatant disrespect for international law and human dignity. Now, 11 Palestinians that died in prison, their bodies so far has not been released. This is seriously the last step where Israel can deny rights to the Palestinians by holding their bodies and not allowing them a proper burial and the family to say goodbye. So 11 Palestinians that died in prison are still the bodies held by Israel. Now, this week also Al-Aqsa. It's Hanukkah. it's an Israeli, it's not an Israeli, it's a Jewish holiday. So Jewish holidays, Zionist settlers have to go up Al-Aqsa. So this week, every day, around 200 Zionist settlers every day, if not more, went up to Al-Aqsa. This means, again, just like the high holidays in September, that the Palestinians are not allowed to go up. So everybody under 50, all Palestinian boys under 50, are not allowed entrance into Al-Aqsa. And I have no doubt that all kinds of Palestinians in Jerusalem got an order that they are not allowed to get close to Al-Aqsa, just to allow the Zionist settlers to go there and throw themselves on the floor and dance and pray and do whatever they are not allowed to do. They're getting bolder and bolder. It's seriously disgusting. Okay, so far, over 7,000 Palestinians have been arrested and over 9,200 Palestinians have been seriously wounded. Let this fucking number sink in. Now, Hebron, settlers opened the path to Ein Farah, to the Ein Farah spring. Now, this is what they do. They open a path. They start claiming the land under protection of the Israeli occupation force. And while they were preparing this path, the Israeli occupation force stood by and made sure that they could, steal the land. It's honestly unbelievable. They were standing guard. And of course, they were threatening the Palestinians that they could not get close again to their land. Now, the week started, no doubt, people that are following the news are aware of this, that the Palestinian French human rights lawyer Salah Hamouri has been forcibly deported from Israel to France because he holds another France passport. Now, Salah Hamouri, again, he's a Palestinian human rights lawyer. That on itself is, of course, a big threat, and that's, not okay. So he was arrested for the first time in 2001 when he was 16 years old. He was again arrested in 2004 and again arrested in 2005 when he was 7 years in prison. Now, Israel claims that he tried to assassinate Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, which was in 2005 probably, because then he was 7 years. Claimed he tried to. And he was released in a prison swap in 2011. He was deported from the West Bank between 2014 and 2016. His wife in 2016 was not allowed to enter the West Bank, to enter occupied territory, so she went back to France. He was trying to do his job. In 2020, he was arrested again, released after 8 days. 2 months later, Ayelet Shaked took away his Jerusalem ID. He was arrested in March in 2022, this year, arrested in March. Since then, has been held in prison under administrative detention, meaning no evidence, no trial. You don't know why you're in jail, just like those two. Like they have here this beautiful poster of two Israelis that are being held under administrative detention, while over 900 Palestinians are being held under administrative detention. And that's A-OK in the only democracy in Israel, in the Middle East. Now, Ayelet Shaked took away his Jerusalem idea and they kicked him out of the country because they claim he breached, now listen to this, he breached allegiance to Israel. Now, Israel is the occupier, and according to international law, he doesn't have to give his allegiance to Israel. Are you fucking crazy? Now, that's the ridiculous, insane story on Salah Khamouri, who is in France. It's ridiculous. And it's, of course, it's unprecedented, and it will set an example for more Palestinians that will be forcefully deported from occupied Palestine. Now, the UN, this is a bit of a nice story. Also, don't have too many of those, but once in a while. The UN voted last week on the right to self-determination for the Palestinians. The General Assembly of the United Nations voted on the right to self-determination for the Palestinians. 168 voted for, 6 against, and 9 didn't vote. Now, the 9 that didn't vote were countries like Rwanda, Cameroon, Tuvalu, I don't even know the country. Countries like that didn't vote. Now, the countries that voted against, this is seriously, listen to this. That's Chad, Israel, the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Nauru, now besides Israel, Chad, the Marshall Islands, Micronesia and Nauru, I have never heard of these countries. They voted against. And who else voted against the right to self-determination of the Palestinians, besides Israel and these 4 weird countries? The United States. Oh, what a surprise. What a surprise. The United States last week in the General Assembly of the United Nations voted against the right to self-determination of the Palestinians. Whoa. Wow, they are so on the wrong side of history. It's unbelievable. Okay. Now, these are like the really big highlights. In Wadi Yachis, Israeli occupation force demolished 6 tents where a family was living in, unfortunately, and it's freaking cold and it's going to rain. Unfortunately, they have nowhere to live. Nowhere. Wadi, oh my God. For him? God, help me, seriously. Okay, the Israeli occupation force uprooted hundreds of olive and almond trees. They destroyed terraces and agricultural ponds for collecting rainwater and bulldozed 28 hectares of cultivated agricultural land. Because they can. In Jerusalem and Ator, on the land of Bichas al Tor, settlers started to build an illegal settlement. And the Israeli occupation force is standing by and doing nothing. In Jiba, close to Jenin, in 2005, a settlement he just said that he really appreciated what we're doing. Now, where was I? In Jiba. There was an illegal settlement in 2005. It was evacuated. Now, last week, settlers arrived with the Israeli occupation force to back them up, and they're trying to return and set it up again. Galgul, in Kirbat al-Takhba, settlers had to go in under support of the Israeli occupation force so they could light candles for Hanukkah. In the Arava, a Palestinian family was attacked, and the Zionist settlers stole 120 sheep. They just stole it and took it to the illegal settlement. Nobody got arrested. Let's make very, very clear. Israeli occupation force, that's not true. Mokorot company, they sealed it and welded a water pit where 800 Palestinians are making use of. Mokorot, that's a water company, found it absolutely necessary to make sure that these 800 Palestinians have no access to water. They welded and sealed the water pit. I mean, how cruel can you be? Mustafa Yatta, same story. Settlers needed to go in under support of the occupation force. Palestinians were attacked. In Kfar Yassif, earlier this week on Saturday, the Israeli police tried to take off the stage a Palestinian rapper. Now, for sure, I'm going to Tamer Nappe. During the Christmas market, he was singing a song that a police dude did not like. He claimed it was against the police, and he tried to close down the show. Now, they didn't let him because it's fucking ridiculous, but that's where we're going. Actually, that's where we are. Now, Mustafa Yatta, where the Zionist settlers had the urgent need to pray, Palestinians were attacked, and two ended up in the hospital. Nablus, 60 cars came in. Again, this is Area A and the Palestinian Authority. Israel has nothing, zero to do in Nablus. They went in with 60 cars. Just imagine how many people. They fired on ambulances and on press to allow Zionist settlers, of course, to visit the grave of the fake Joseph, wherever there is, in the center of town. Nablus is a Palestinian town. The grave that's there, for sure there's a grave. That's the grave of Joseph, who the fuck, whatever. It's bullshit. Bullshit. And 1,400 Zionist settlers needed to go to Nablus to light a candle and to dance because they can. Now, while they were allowing 1,400 Zionist settlers access to Nablus, the Israeli occupation force killed a Palestinian, a 23-year-old. So for these 1,400 settlers to allow them to be there, a Palestinian got killed. Now this Palestinian was a 23-year-old, great football player, was killed. So that 1,400 Zionist settlers could enter Nablus to sing and dance around the grave. That's not, is it not nothing to do with our history, because that's seriously bullshit. Now, included in the coalition agreement He was in with his telephone. He deserves that. Should not be with your telephone. It's just that easy. I'm not going to film it, it's not interesting. So let's stay on this part. Now, in the coalition agreement that's being signed in the next few days in Israel between Bibi Netanyahu and Ben Gvir, there's a death penalty punishment law that they want to bring in, is included actually, so that, you know, once you throw a stone as a Palestinian, it gives Israel the right, they're doing it anyway, to sentence you to death. And of course, Ben Gvir wants to exercise total little shitheads. Of course, they want to have full sovereignty in occupied territories in Area C and B. Little shitheads that think this is their land, which it isn't. Little shitheads, but seriously, they are the problem in this country. They really are. Look at this, look at this. Such a shame I can't zoom in, these little shitheads. Now, there is this big fund in Norway There's this big fund in Norway. It's called the Osher Fund or the Happiness Fund, something like that. And they deal with $1.3 trillion regarding investments, and they have decided they are stop working with the Israeli banks because of the illegal settlements. The only thing they know, they have a filthy mouth. That's the only thing they know. I'm a journalist. That's okay. I'm totally good. I'm supported here. I'm a journalist. I really want to stay here.
But it's problem.
That's okay. I'm here, behind the pole. If they want to hit me,
It's about your safety.
it's okay. I can handle it. It's okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm not allowed to stand here. Not really clear to me why. So I will stay here then. Why can't I stand here? Why can't I stand here?
Island of the way.
So,
Okay.
and I'm standing here in the middle. I'm standing here every week. There's nothing new here. Standing here every week. They're fine. I'm standing here every week. You can let me stand here.
Listen, it's not okay. You can,
Yes, it is okay. It's absolutely
not
okay.
okay.
Yes, it is. Who says it's not okay? I can stand here. It's still a free country. I can stand here. Nobody
it's
is
not about
attacking me.
me. You are on the way.
I'm
But
not
you
on the
don't
way.
understand.
I am on the way, guys. Let's be clear. Let's show this. I am standing on the way. I'm standing here in the middle, not bothering anybody.
Listen, you can't stay here.
I can't stay
This
here.
is way. You can.
No, this is not way. This is not road. There are no cars here. I can't stay
What
here.
are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm filming.
Because
Because,
I tell you something not true. I tell you about your safety.
dude, that's not your job. Your job is not to tell me that I'm standing here because of traffic. No, I don't need to.
You can.
No, I don't need to stand here on the middle of the road. I'm standing here
You're
on the
in the
side.
middle of the road.
No, I'm at the side. Now, Chile decided to open an embassy, and they're going to do this in Ramallah. Now, of course, the Israeli occupation force is not going to be happy with that. Now, the US has also decided that their visa program is they are not going to allow Israeli settlers or Israelis that has been violent towards Palestinians. They are not going to be they are not going to get part of a visa in the US. Yes. So they are right now delaying the visa program that Bibi has been working very hard on. But there are some little footnotes. Fuck them. Okay. Yeah, I'm standing in the middle of the road. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm here. This is where I'm standing, guys. I'm standing behind the pole, so that any Zionist settlers that might wanna, fucking kill me or, ram me, at least it will come from the front, because from the back I am supported. I'm safe. Because that's what's all about, our safety. Now let me see if there's anything else, although I spoke a lot. Yeah, I think this is it, guys. Let me see. Now settler, blah blah blah, yeah, that's it. So we ended on some good notes regarding the embassy of Chile, that they're going to open their embassy in Palestine, occupied Palestine in Ramallah. And the Osher Happiness Fund will stop working with Israeli banks, and the US visa program, they will not include, or they are considering not to include, Israelis. There's no need, there was no reason for the Israeli that it was in jail or anything like it. Beautiful! That's it. Wow. Quite a lot of, I can't zoom in, that's a shame. And I don't want to throw myself in the middle of, well, actually, why not? I still have a pole behind me, if they want to ram me. Let's go to the other side. Because this, is more than enough. And let's film those dudes a bit up close. Yeah. So a quiet demonstration in Zaatara, looking the occupation straight in the eyes, man, straight in the eyes.
Salim Danton,
Just for us.
Yes, exactly. I wasn't sure to find you here.
It's really a shame that I'm not able to zoom in. Really don't know why that is, though. Very disturbing. Now, he's very annoyed by me. which is A-okay. Now let's talk about Nablus. Nablus, earlier this week, 60 vehicles of Israeli occupation force went in, 60. Now every car has at least 4. So 250 Israeli occupation force soldiers went into Nablus to allow 1,400 Zionist settlers to go and have a dance on a grave of a fake person. Well, the person is real, just not who they claim this person is. With the result, because Area A, Palestinian Authority, Israel has nothing to do there. Those 1,400 Zionist settlers had nothing to do there. And then I wonder why the Palestinians are, not happy with the result that one Palestinian was killed. So that 1,400 Zionist settlers can dance in the middle of a Palestinian town. Every day, more than 200 Zionist settlers went up Al-Aqsa. Every day, dancing, praying, throwing themselves on the floor. Everything against the agreement. And they're doing it anyway, and the Israeli occupation force is allowing it, standing by, doing nothing. Last week, close by where we are right now, a car with 5 Palestinians, flat tire, pulled their car over on the side of the road. 2 Palestinians got killed because a Zionist settler ran into their car. 2 brothers. There are 5. The oldest one was is probably still getting married this week. So they're on their way to buy suits and presents. And the Zionist settler claimed it was an accident. So, of course, again, for all these attacks that are happening every day, no Zionist settler is going to jail. No Zionist settler is being held accountable. It's unbelievable.
So how's your bike doing now?
Good. A few things to forget about you to deliver.
So that's looking the occupation in the eye from Zaatara. I've said enough. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Our Shaul. The amount of flags here, again, fuck my zoom in. So there's a flag there, a flag here, 2 flags there, 2 flags here, a huge flag here, a flag over there. Let's make very clear here, we are in occupied Palestine. All these flags here, all these Israeli flags. Okay, let me tell you this. I am right now reading a book. That's unbelievable. I'm reading a book. Actually, I read a lot of books. So the fact that I'm reading a book is not unbelievable, but the fact that people are still there, not a lot of people still reading books. Anyway, I have to sneeze. Okay, bless me. I'm reading a book. It's called Hope. Hope, a woman's name. It's about a Palestinian Bedouin from the Negev. She's probably, I haven't looked her up yet on Facebook, but she is This is her life story basically, and she is a Bedouin activist her whole life, a rebel fighting for equal rights for women, Palestinians, Bedouin, and empower women basically to get their power back and to get their self back. Something that over the years, you know, it's extremely interesting. The moment I read it, I can't put it down with the results that I'm reading until 4 o'clock in the morning. But once, when they were still, you know, having their land, and they were real, you know, like Bedouins and going with the seasons and moving around. The women, they were very strong. They were supporting the whole village, the whole tribe, with, you know, being responsible for the water and being responsible for all kinds of things. Now, with the occupation and the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians and pushing them out and away, etc., these roles have changed of women, and they are today not supported, or at that point, talking 40 years ago, at that point not supporting anymore, not giving anything additional to the tribe besides children, and then of course men. Now, Hope, a woman's name, her name is Amal, which is hope in Arabic. That's why. So this is about her and her struggle. So she really fought and struggled to get equal rights, that she was treated for what she is able to do and not being treated as a woman, and therefore not allowing a shitload of things. I'm in the middle of the book. Now, one thing that she wrote is about these flags, that it's about, and I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but Israelis, that they know they are living on stolen land, want to make sure, you know, and tell themselves that it's theirs, therefore putting flags all over the place and, you know, telling everybody else this is ours. You know, that's the flag, her flag thing. Now, again, the book is very much about her struggle within her community. With her, I'm very curious to figure out, because the name of the village is written. She gives the Palestinian name, the Arab name of the village. So, not sure if I recognize it. It is in the area of Zaatara, and I'm dying to meet her. So once I finish the book, I will really figure out who she is. And huge respect for her and for her struggle, breaking tradition in and fighting for women's rights and really empowering women. So she gave, when she was a kid, she gave classes to the female women of the tribe in the village to learn how to read and write, for example. She did summer classes for the kids. She started a project, and for sure people know it, very successful, about a driving library that she drives around in the area of Masafayata, where the kids have a library and, you know, can read. She started all kinds of projects that today are in all kinds of organizations, again, to empower the Bedouin within the Israeli organization and the women within the tribe. Really fantastic book. I don't know the name of the writer except Amal. Beautiful name. The reason she got that name was when she was born. Her parents were so upset that it was again a girl, that her father called her Amal, that hoping that only sons would come after them. And they did. So I'm very curious to see how much more amazing she can be as what she is already. Activist, and I know that in Hebron, when the massacre took place, that's where I am more or less right now, she called up students, communities to demonstrate against the atrocities that took place at that point in Hebron. So no doubt, and again, it's not about Israel, it's not about the occupation, it's just about nothing nasty there. It's really, again, about the struggle and the racism she's encountering from Israel while she's studying in Beersheba, etc. It's just a sideline. It's a by the by. So, as a woman, you need some empowerment. It's a good book. And she's not just a woman, she's also a Palestinian and a Bedouin, which is even like, wow. And Mustafa Yatta right now is under immediate threat, where they're really trying everything to or scare them away. So the area has been called, the area has been turned into a military exercise area. Now, there are lots of illegal settlements around them. The nasty ones, the nasty hardcore ones are around Mustafa Yatta. Of course, their areas is not military firing ground. Only the area of the Palestinian villages. Only those areas. And the summer, there were tanks driving through villages and through their area, over their ground, helicopters, shooting, even there were bullets, in houses found. The Israeli occupation force put like targets, like on a water well, that, the Israelis would shoot at them, at the target, and then kill, ruin the water well, for example. Yeah, beautiful. So Mustafa Yatta, it's also again there. Solidarity tents have been taken down. Now let's take this a bit from the other side. Anyway. Really don't know what to do with my Zoom from Facebook. I have a present for you. Yeah, look. Didn't you tell me I have this water bottle? And you told me oh, what a beautiful water bottle. So I got you one. Yeah. But then I was like, maybe it wasn't you, but I hope it was you. And if it wasn't you, well then, you still got a nice water bottle. I don't know, I was like, you said that to me. So yeah, nice big one. It is a very belated birthday present. It's like months later. So again, somewhat Zaatara, quiet demonstration, looking the occupation in the eye. Right now, by the way, there's a demonstration happening in the more south, below Jerusalem, where especially women are standing in solidarity, Palestinians and Israelis together, also against, I think, arrests. Now, standing in solidarity together is always good. Just under Jerusalem. So that doesn't really allow us to do anything else afterwards except Zaatara. And there are so many more places to go. From here on we will go to Beit Jan, we will go to Kadum, we will go to Beta. Weekly demonstrations taking place in all of these places against the occupation, against stealing of land, against closing, for access to land like in Kadum. Where in 2011 the higher court ruled that the access that the Israeli occupation force closed the main road out of the village towards the highway was closed with the Israeli occupation force because of the Zionist settlement Kadumim on stolen land, of course. 2011 higher court decided that the road should be open for the Palestinians to get to a point which is seriously like 900 meters away. Now they have to drive 20 minutes to get there. Since 2011, the Israeli occupation force, the army, has decided, no, we're not going. We're not listening to the Israeli higher court. No, we don't care. We decide. So since then, the road is still closed. Now, just imagine you have a medical urgency and you have to drive an additional 20 minutes. This is what you could do actually in 3. Beta, where Zionist settlers took the mountain almost 2 years ago already. Wow, time flies, man. 10 Palestinians of the village were killed during demonstrations to get their mountain back. Also here the court decided they should leave the place while they will check out who is the official owner of the mountain of Beta. And since then, the Israeli occupation force is holding the mountain for no fucking reason. And since then, every Friday and lots of evenings, the whole village is demonstrating to get their village, to get their mountain back. Oh, wow, really big glasses. So that's Beta. And then Kafur Beit Jan, one settler built himself a place in the middle of the land of the people of Beit Jan. It's like 3,000 hectares they have no access to. And the Israeli occupation force does not allow them access to their land because of this one lousy shithead. So also there, demonstrating every week now, and in Kadum, and in Beit Jan every week, and in Beta. People get killed, people get wounded, lots of gas. But the spirit in these 3 places, that part of us will be going each to one. We're not going to run around to 3 places and then at 3 o'clock be in Zaatara, because that won't do. But the spirit in all these 3 places, in Beta it's just beautiful. The women, would make food for everybody, for the whole village, all of them together. And then, during the demonstration, the younger kids come by and hand out food and water every Friday again. Beautiful, beautiful. In Kadum, where you can see how the older generation is really, worried and taking care of the younger generation, putting them out of harm's way, endangering themselves. Yeah, it's crazy. Then Zaatara. Where earlier this week 2 Palestinians died while they were fixing their car that was standing on the side of the road, and a Zionist settler drove into them, afterwards claiming it was an accident, which we all know is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Nice. 50 people. Join us next week. Quiet demonstration to show the Palestinians that not all Israelis are shitheads, and that there are Israelis standing with them in their fight for human rights, basic human rights, access to water, safety, that you're not afraid you will wake up in the middle of the night because of a raid, that your children might get arrested. You never know if you leave the house if you will be back in the evening. No matter if you're a boy, girl, or how old you are. As a Palestinian, you have no idea when you leave the house if you will get back to it in the evening, safe, sound, and in one piece. Because of the Israeli occupation force and because of the settlers. Attacking non-stop. Non-stop. And making their lives as miserable as possible by stealing land, uprooting trees, beating them up, ruining cars, throwing gas in houses, universities, schools. I even read in the book that as a Palestinian, if you want to study, the chances that you can are minimum, because you will simply not have enough points to get into the university. Because it works on certain points. So there's just one level that's being taught for the Palestinians, if already. And that's of course the lowest level, because oh my God, just imagine if you would properly educate them and give them proper and equal chances. There's sweet shoes. I don't know if I blue sweet shoes.
Very upset you can't go to
What happened there?
מרטין, אהלן, גשם, זה לא בריא אמרו לי. 3 קופסאות ביום ישבתי,
Occupation kills. There's no occupation without resistance. There's no democracy with occupation. That's what's written on the signs. Tomorrow there's a demonstration in Haifa, 6 o'clock. Strongly suggest join us. Interesting that they are stopping Israelis or yellow license plate cars. Ah, look at that, the middle finger. What an asshole. Hey. And these little shitheads. I don't know what to do. With my lack of zoom. I wonder if it would change if I would do this.